In this video, I want to discuss 4 mistakes that I see people and myself have made time and time again. And these mistakes caused me to have major setbacks and dramatically lowered my chance of ever decreasing that belly fat to eventually see my abs. Because 9 times out of 10, if we want to decrease our belly fat, we eventually want to see our abs specifically. So by me stopping to do these things, I went from, in 3 months, from being this way to being this way, from being having high levels of body fat to being lean and be able to see my six pack and losing a lot of the belly fat. So I'm going to discuss these 4 major things. Now, before we get into those things, we need to understand how body fat comes off the body, because with this understanding, this is going to help the process of you understanding how body fat comes off the body, so you won't be discouraged when it doesn't come off in the desired area that you want first, as far as the belly. Now, for us to see our abdominals and to decrease our belly fat, we have to lose fat all over our body, period. We can't spot reduce. I can't do a whole bunch of sit-ups and then specifically burn all the fat in my abdominal area. For me to see my abs eventually, I have to lose all my overall body fat to eventually see my abs, as long with other lean parts of my body. Meaning that, think of it like a bed. To get to the mattress, we have to take off 3 layers of sheets. We have to take off the first layer of sheet, the second layer of sheet, the third layer of sheet to get to the mattress. Our body works the same way. For us to get to see our abdominals, we have to lose fat all over our body to eventually get to the point to where we can see our abs. But other parts of our body will be lean as well. So while it's good to know that body fat comes off in other areas of our body first before it reaches our abdominals, it's because when we're in the gym and we're losing weight, but then we lift off our shirt and we don't see that our abs are coming in, it'll give us a more understanding that, okay, body fat is going to come off on my face, and then it's going to come off my shoulders, and then it's going to come off my chest, and then eventually it's going to come off my thighs, and it's going to make our way to the abdominals. And this is pretty general. It's not everybody, because everybody's genetics are different, but specifically for men, this is usually how it goes. It goes through a chain of specific areas being lost, as far as body fat being taken off first before it gets to the abdominal area. Why? I'm not too sure. Other people said that maybe it's because that our body, the body fat that's developed in our abdominals is close to our digestive system, so maybe it develops more there, or is to protect our organs, because we have a lot of organs there, and body fat is used to protect our organs. But I don't know. But body fat for men especially is usually around the abdominal area, is the last to go. So as you're losing weight and you don't see your abdominals, just understand that it's a chain of where places of fat comes off to eventually reach your abdominal. So usually it'll go like this, from 25% to 20%. Usually that'll be like the face, then the shoulders, and then the chest, and then the arms. And then from like 20% to all the way down to like 14% now, since the body fat already came off around the face and the shoulders and the chest, it'll start making its way down, usually around that range, to the abdominals, just to give you a reference. This is not a hard rule or a hard way that the body fat goes, but usually it goes like that, and it goes like that for me as well. So just understand that targeting fat loss in a specific area that you're working out in is not possible. It's not possible. The body loses body fat in whole in general for you to be able to see your abs. So everywhere else of the fat that is on the body, it decreases as well, and eventually it'll make its way down to your abs. So don't get discouraged when you're actually losing weight and you don't see that your abs aren't coming in. They're going to come in soon. It's just other areas of your body fat is coming off before it reaches down there, because that's just how it is for most men out there. So now the first thing that kept me and kept a lot of people from removing that belly fat is alcohol. Now, alcohol, what will happen with me is I would work out perfectly from Monday to Friday. Then Friday will come and I'll be like, hey, let me enjoy myself. Let me go out for 2 drinks. But what alcohol does is alcohol, I will have 1 drink, cool, second drink. By the second drink, now my willpower is gone. And then eventually that night, I'm out eating something I'm not supposed to. And then I will wake up the next day like, fuck it, I ruined everything. And I will have so much frustration, and I'll be like, let me go harder even Monday. And then Monday comes around, but I'm so drained from drinking that weekend. So now I'm spending 2 days to recover, trying to hydrate. Then Thursday comes around, and then I'll go to the gym, I'll be good. And then Friday come around, I'll drink again. And then now the drinking kills the willpower. And then now I'm eating more shit I'm not supposed to be eating. And I just wiped out a whole month's worth of work out in 2 weeks. And this had me in a chokehold all the time. And it's because the decisions I was making when I was drinking alcohol in the environment that I was around. So when I cut alcohol out, I had more control over my life and my diet. And I wasn't making those foolish decisions as far as drinking alcohol and then now my willpower is going and eating a whole bunch of bullshit. And this prevented so many setbacks, and it cleared all the setbacks that I was having. And now my weight loss journey, as far as to decrease my belly fat, became so much easier. Now, the second thing, and this is very, 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 very common that people make. And this may seem weird, but making progress. So now let me try to break this down. When you start making progress, eventually in your mind, you're going to say, hey, I'm making progress. So let me enjoy myself. Let me loosen up a bit. Let me go on vacation. Let me go and celebrate the progress that I'm making. But the form of celebration people tend to make, it's something that's opposite from the goals that they want. So they'll go out and they'll have a big cheat meal, or they'll have a big cheat day, or they'll go out and they'll drink excessively. And this causes people to set themselves back a lot, because they start celebrating because they see, I spent the month actually disciplined and eating my meals and showing up to the gym. And on the days that I didn't feel like it, I still went to the gym anyway. So let me celebrate and let me enjoy the progress that I'm making. But you could potentially mess that up, because you can go too far celebrating the progress that you're making. So what I would say is don't celebrate the progress. Celebrate you achieving the goal. Because when you celebrate you achieving actually the goals that you want, now you'll get to the goal. Except for along the way, tricking yourself out that goal by celebrating the progress, or even celebrating the hard work. Like, I worked hard all this week. Let me loosen up a bit. That's a trap that will set a lot of people back. So celebrate the goal when you reach it. Don't celebrate the progress. Be excited for the progress and understand that when you're making progress, this is time for you to be even more tightened up, for you to tighten more up, because that progress is gonna, in your mind, going to trick you out of maintaining the progress that you're making. So keep that in mind, that the more progress that you make, the more tempted it is going to be for you to loosen up on your goal. And that's when you lock in and go harder. so you don't lose that momentum. Now, the next thing is when a person starts a diet, they tend to think that they have to switch up their whole entire menu. They tend to think that, man, I can't eat this no more. I have to eat that. Meaning that I can't have mac and cheese no more. I have to have plain old pasta, or I have to have plain old rice, or I have to have chicken, broccoli, and rice, blah, blah, blah. That is not true. You don't have to stop eating the foods that you like and start eating the foods that you don't like, because that's not sustainable. There's low calorie versions of every food out there, even the foods that you like. There's low calorie mac and cheese. There's low calorie spaghetti. There's low calorie ice cream. There's low calorie cookies. There is a low calorie option of everything that you like out there. So when you diet, it may take a while for you to actually find a different type of brand that you like. But when you diet or when you change your eating habits to lose that body fat and lose belly fat, you don't have to change your whole menu. You can just find the low calorie or the healthiest options of the version that you like. I like popcorn, so I buy the version of the popcorn with not that much butter on it. I like Sunkist, so I get the 0 calorie Sunkiss. I like French toast, so I make low calorie French toast. I like I liked it, those things before I switched my eating habits. I just literally took the things that I like and find the low calorie version of those things. And what this does is this really makes me feel like I didn't change anything about the way I eat. Yes, it's not going to taste exactly the same, as far as, because it's not so much butter, and it's not so much sugar, and it's not so much oil within these foods. But as you start to make progress, you're going to grow to love those foods, because you're going to be like, man, these foods, I like these foods and I'm losing weight. It's going to make you love them even more. But eventually, you'll find the low calorie versions that you really like, and you'll be able to sustain the diet for a long period of time. Yes, it's going to be some work. Yes, it may take 3 months, 6 months for you to actually find these low calorie options that taste good. But there's people out there that make diet cookbooks. There's recipes online that you can find out. You don't have to switch from the foods that you like to the foods that you don't like, because it's not going to be sustainable. So go out there online and find these recipes that you like. There is literally low calorie, listen, low calorie Oreo pancakes that I had the other day with protein in it. And I can't believe that it was low calorie. So as I'm eating the pancakes, like, I just can't believe it. And I enjoy it so much because I know literally it's within my calorie count, and it's also something that I enjoy. The last thing is what I say all the time, and I'm going to keep on saying it, and that is to track calories. Now, the reason why you want to track calories is because not a lot of people really understand what is on their plate. A lot, especially me in the beginning, I couldn't tell you how many calories was on a plate when I looked at it, or had an estimate of the calories, because nobody's gonna know exact. But by tracking calories, we can have more control over our diet to get to the calorie count that we need to get to make sure that we're in a caloric deficit. Not a lot of people, even at a healthy bar, you could have a whole healthy buffet bar, and you can tell somebody to go over there, make a plate, come back, and guess the calories. They can't even guess calories that's on a healthy plate. Can't. And then there's things that you can't see, especially if you're ordering out, which I suggest you do it as minimum. There's things that you can't see as far as the butter that was fried, or you can't see as far as the oil that was used, because oil and butter is very dense. This much of oil is probably like 100 calories, and like this much of butter is probably like 150 calories. So it's very dense. So if these foods are coming out already with sauces on them that you're using, and then you got oil and butter, now you can easily eat yourself out of a calorie deficit. So let's say you have a chicken breast, and now the chicken breast was fried in oil. So now that's extra calories. And then let's say that you're using sauce. So that's extra calories that you're adding to that one chicken breast. Now let's say you have 5. You just ate yourself out of a calorie deficit. And the person that's not experienced with counting calories or has an idea of portion size is not going to know. They're going to think, hey, I had chicken though. I had protein, yes. But not understanding what I just said and how much you ate yourself out of a calorie deficit because you didn't understand how dense the sauce is or the oil is or the butter is that was used to make those things. So by tracking your calories, you'll have more control over your diet and you'll make sure that you're on track to be in a calorie deficit, to lose a pound a week, to make sure you shred all of that body fat off, and especially eventually getting to your belly fat and taking that off, being able to see your abs. So I hope this video was helpful. And to quick recap over this video, understand that we can't spot reduce. We want to get rid of the belly fat, but we have to get rid of body fat in general, as far as the whole fat on our body to decrease to see our abs eventually. So as far as, especially when it comes for men, our body fat comes off our face, then shoulders, then chest, arms, then it makes its way down to the abdominals. That's just how it is. So don't get discouraged if you're losing weight and you're actually losing body fat, but you don't see it coming off your abs yet and you don't see it defined. It'll get there eventually as you decrease your body fat. And then the 4 things is alcohol. Alcohol causes bad decisions. When you drink it, your inhibitions go away and the willpower goes away. Then you start making bad decisions, and a lot of people make bad decisions when it comes to food, especially me. I'll start eating a whole bunch of bullshit. And then the next thing is making progress. You can start making progress, and then that progress could cause you to loosen up, and you can end up ruining your whole progress and pushing yourself back 2 weeks. So make sure that when you're making progress, you stay the course. And then you don't have to switch the foods that you like for the foods that you don't like. You just eat the low calorie foods that you like, the low calorie version of the foods that you like. And then the last thing, but not least, but the most important, is just count your calories. Take the time to count the calories just to make sure that you're actually in the calorie deficit so you can have more control over your diet. Now, if you found this video helpful, I'm going to put another video on the screen and I talk about how I consistently am able to build muscle and lose fat. And there's a lot of good information in this video, so check it out. And also I do personalized coaching, so I have an email. You can email me, and even if you have a question, I'll answer your questions as well. And I'll catch you guys in the next